my father passed away last year in January. And when he did, I cried, as you do. And the tears from my eyes fell into my mouth. That salty taste of tears. And it was at that point that the tears kind of falling into my mouth signified the reality of what has happened. And so when I tasted them, I think it was a few days later, maybe in a couple of weeks, I sat down at the piano and started to write this idea of only when the teardrops, only when the teardrops, you know, I wrote this idea there. There wasn't any verse, so to speak, but then the verse came along as I started to feel the darkness. It's harder to see in a dark place. And that's what I felt. I felt somewhat alone in spite of the incredible support and kindness and love of family and friends. But really it wasn't until about maybe 3-4 weeks later that one of my friends tried to commit suicide. Unsuccessful. And she, I think she was looking for maybe forgiveness, maybe a realization of her potential, or maybe a forgetting, maybe she wanted attention. And so I thought about this idea of being forgiven when you die. Because you're no longer there, we don't say many bad words about people who die because they're gone. We say, oh, God bless them, they've gone the way of the earth. So I came up with this line of, forgiving is easy when life's erased. So I thought about our life being erased. And there's a beautiful moment in the video where Johanna Lewis wipes her hand on the floor as if life being erased. And I really love that. So the whole song came out of grief. And then the reason why the video came around, it really was, and why it was set into motion and quite quickly, was because at the end of the year, in November of 2014, we found out that my wife had cancer. And so there had to be something that would represent these points in my life, but in spite of them, we have to keep dancing. So I wanted these two kind of, it's a very dark feeling. You know, there's been the death of a father, there's a suicide of someone, there's the illness, disease, and in spite of all of these, you have your life responsibility. So the song was really put together, and video put together in such a way that it was representative of all those things, but you didn't have to see those things to get that feeling. And hopefully, and people have said to me that it's offered healing, which is wonderful. Yeah, I mean, some people have asked me, you know, I actually had a review. Somebody asked, you know, do you play the piano? Because you'll notice when I give the credits, I give the credit to a fabulous pianist and arranger called Giovanni Goulart. And he's from Portugal, now living in Canada. Fabulous man. Look him up on the web. He is fabulous. We've become very good friends. And he, I obviously I wrote the thing here, you know, I can play it. But I realized that in order to have the perfect combination of me providing the atmosphere vocally and putting everything into that arrangement, I needed some input from someone who could play beautifully, classically, but also provide an aspect, a view that I wasn't able to give. And I think one of the most important things about creating a song is that a song cannot be somebody else's. I think it was Seal who spoke about his lyrics, that sometimes we hear a lyric and it means something to us, but he said something completely different in the song. And I love this idea of my music meaning something different because somebody's interpreted it differently and provided another avenue. And so, can I play what he wrote? Well, yeah, you know, I mean, you know, he's got that lovely flourish at the end, you know. You know, that's beautiful, you know. But could I play that and sing that at the same time? Well, I kind of did, you know. Only when the teardrops, only when the teardrops. You know, so yeah, I can do it, but it's far better to have somebody play that for you. So maybe when we do it live, I might ask Giovanni to fly over from Canada, or maybe we'll meet up somewhere like in Las Vegas and sing it. Yeah, so I had many other people involve themselves in the creation of the song. One of my favorite composers is not Giovanni, but Giacomo Catali, and he did the orchestration, the string orchestration. And I remember when he played it to me, first of all, I think I probably cried, or I put my head in my hands and said, oh my goodness, this is one of my songs, and it's just beautiful. I could not believe how beautiful and sweeping it become, you know, so it was just very simple. Very, very simple, and he made it so beautiful. And you can see one of the reasons I put the credits at the end of the video was not only because I wanted to give thanks to all those people that participated in the creation, but I actually wanted to play the music without my voice involved. So you hear all those people that participated on their own. So there was their chance to shine within the video. So yeah, I'm very grateful. Am I too old? That's an interesting thing. There was an interview with Alex Boyer. Some of you may know him. Put his name into Google, and you'll see that he's a guy with like 200 million hits on YouTube. But I don't believe at this stage in his career he's signed by a record deal, but he's been creating music online for years. And but he was in an interview, and he just released a song, a cover version of the song Lemonade. And in the interview, he said, people said I was too black, too old, and my music wasn't commercial enough. And I think we've had the answer. Recently, he appeared on America's Got Talent, and people loved him and his band and his different take on music. And so, no, not too old, not too ugly, not commercial. What does that mean? I think we're going to find that with people like Paul Potts, Susan Boyle, with this kind of exposure of older artists, these artists have yet to be discovered. We're going to find that the older artist actually has a chance. And besides, I feel incredibly young.